Temperatures as low as -18 degrees Celsius. With little finances and homes not adequate enough to keep the heat in, many families struggle during this season. The elderly are vulnerable and physically challenged to fight the cold during these days and nights. Young children must walk through snow and ice in order to get to school and return to a chilly and bitter cold home. Imam Hussein Development and Relief Foundation are determined to help. We will be providing households with coal to burn throughout the winter. $150 is all we need. $150 will be enough to provide heat and warmth for one household for the whole of winter. That's $150 for 4 months. You can donate via PayPal, bank transfer, or visit us at www.ihdrf.org to make a donation. Our Imams tell us the best of you are those who help those who are desperate. Help us spread the warmth. Thank you.
We question our daily position, seeking answers and definitions. Get the queries off your chest with Ahkam SOS.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Ahkam SOS, the show that discusses Islamic duties and practices. Now, this is a live show. We're taking all your questions. So if you have any questions on any topic, on any science, whether it's astrology, whether it is finance, whether it is marriage, or whether it is Hajj, Zakat, Khums, Ramadan, whatever your question is in regards to Islamic law, please send in your questions via the WhatsApp, email address ahkamsos@imamhussein.tv. If you're watching on Facebook or you're watching on YouTube, put your question in the comment section, and inshallah the technical team will be able to push that question and forward that question to myself, and inshallah myself and the Sheikh will be able to answer all of those questions. I'm your host Mohsin Shah, and joining me is Sheikh Ali Maash. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Sheikhna, before we begin, let us send our condolences to the Imam of our time and also the Muslim Ummah on the tragic istishhad, the tragic martyrdom of Sayyidina Fatima Zahra sallallahu alayha. These days and nights are very, very precious and special to us Shia, especially where we commemorate how the tragic death of Sayyidina Fatima Zahra sallallahu alayha had occurred. Sheikhna, would you like to discuss anything in regards to, maybe a few words just for our viewers in regards to Sayyidina Fatima Zahra sallallahu alayha?
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطاهرين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين. Of course, our aza and condolences to the Imam of our time, Ajjallahu Farajahu al-Sharif, and to the ulama, and to the believing men and women, followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, for this tragic and musibah of the shahada of Fatima al-Zahra salamullah alayha. Sheikh al-Saduq, he narrates by his authority from Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salam. He states that the Imam said to a man from Bani Sa'ad, a tribe, that ألا أحدثكم عني وعن فاطمة. Shall I say something about myself and Fatima alayhi salam? Then he said to him and to them, أنها كانت عندي, that Fatima alayhi salam was with me in my house as a spouse, as a wife. فاستقت بالقربة حتى أثر في صدرها, that she basically dealt with the water bucket. You know, those there was no running water. They had to bring the water from the well inside the bucket and then try to use the water for drinking, for washing, for bathing and so forth. So she used to carry that water bucket to do all these things, in which had effect on her chest, now chest pain or other things ala kulli hal. So that's one of the difficulties that she faced. Then the Imam goes and says, وَطَحَنَتْ بَالرَّحَى حَتَّى مَجُلَتْ يَدَاهَا, that she grinded with the mill till her hand became stiff and sometimes bleeding as well. Salamullah alayha. وَكَسَحَتِ الْبَيْتِ حَتَّى غْبَرَّتْ ثِيَابَهَا, that she swept the house till her clothes became dusty, because in that time the houses were basically from the sand and soil and dust and so forth. وأوقدت تحت القدر حتى دكنت ثيابها, that she lighted the fire under the pan and the cooking utensils until her clothes became dark due to the smoke. فأصابها من ذلك ضرر شديد. As a result, she faced hardship, she faced severe harm due to this hard work at home. And that will, of course, tells us that how that this great lady of light was an exemplar, a role model for all women to take care of their house and to put all their efforts in order to nurture and basically help their their husbands and children, and to be able to be a good example of a wife who would take care of their houses. So it's not always to go out. Sometimes you have to take care of your house as well, in which the house would be the base and the headquarter of each family, to be able to raise the kids in the right manner and in the best form, that there would no corruption as a result. There would no bad manners and morals and so forth.
Sheikh, let's kick off. Let's start with, is it obligatory to learn the religious rulings when selling and buying, when trading?
In overall, it's mustahab for the one to learn the ahkam of trade, of selling and buying. And if there is something that is important and needed to be learned, then it becomes mandatory. Sometimes for some types of businesses and fields in which requires everyday dealings, let's say stock exchange, you have to make sure that you know the hukum. So you don't receive or pay riba and interest as a result. Yes. For example, you must learn these ahkam to avoid paying or receiving riba. Yes. For example, there is a narration by the Amir Ali alayhi salam. He states, "Man التجر بغير علم," the one who trades without knowledge, without the Islamic rulings, ارتطم في الربا ثم ارتطم. He would be facing the riba. Definitely, there's no way you can run away from riba and receiving or paying interest. Another hadith from Sadiq alayhi salam, we'll just read the translation in English, that he said, Salamullah alayhi, whoever wants to engage in trade, then he should excel in learning the teachings of his religion, in order to know that what is halal for him and what is haram. And whoever does not learn the teachings of his religion, but engages in business of trade, he would be entangled in prohibited acts without him knowing it. So you must learn the main rulings for trade, for business, so you won't be falling into the forbidden acts of the trade, because you may end up earning haram money and feeding your family haram money as well.
True. Sheikh, some questions from our viewers. What is kalam? Is kalam philosophy and logic from teachings of Ahlul Bayt? Kalam, Sheikh, when we studied in Hawza, was theology and the different schools of thought. Exactly. Whether they're Asharites or Mu'tazilites, or if they're Itna Ashari like we are, Jafri, Ismaili, Zaydi, if they're Sunni, Naqshbandi, or there were different types of what we call kalamat or kalam. The brother or sister here was asking, what is kalam? Is kalam philosophy and logic from teachings of the Ahlul Bayt?
As you mentioned, it's a theology, but anyhow, one must refer back at the end as a conclusion to the Holy Quran, to the narrations of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, in which they spoke about these issues, and to the rule of the reason, the aql, in which we cannot accept what the philosophers or the Arfanis say, for example.
Yes.
If it contradicts with Quran, we have to reject it.
Yes.
Even whoever he is, this alim Arfani or a philosopher. When it comes to conflict with Quran and Sunnah and Hadith, we have to reject it. And even aql, sometimes, we have to reject it.
Excellent. Sheikh, what do you do if you join last rak'ah of Jama'ah prayer? I guess you just prayed the normal prayer, isn't it? You carry on, and then when there's taslim at the end and then the tashahhud. You stay down. You pretend as you're getting up, but you're
Exactly.
just squatting down, waiting,
Exactly,
just
yes.
listening, and then
Yes.
you rise and carry on as
Exactly.
normal, I believe. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna.
alaikum.
Is playing lottery halal or haram? Good question. According to our marja, His Eminence Sayyid Sadiq Shirazi, and also the late Muhammad Shirazi rahmatullah. I remember there was a different fatwa because some of the money was used for charitable causes and so forth. I think he allowed it, didn't he?
Yes, if there's a charity cause, part of this payment goes to the charity organizations, as with National Lottery, I think in the UK, isn't it? National Lottery.
Yeah, National
Yes.
Lottery in the UK.
Yeah.
They have a lot of charity work that they
A
do.
lot of charity payments, yeah. But in anyhow, the normal lotteries, the game of chance and so forth,
Yes.
they're forbidden. It's gambling. So you have to make sure that you don't play them, and you have to go back to your alim to see if he would allow this type of charitable lottery games in this case.
Nice, Anton. Shaykh, what is the ruling on buying and selling predatory animals such as tigers and lions?
It's not allowed to buy and sell these types of animals without any reason, something that has no particular value. You can't bring a lion cub at your house as a pet. Number one is dangerous, number two is illegal, number three is that has no particular value or reason for that. Yes, if it's something reasonable, let's say someone wants to establish a zoo, and that would be for public use, public benefit. Schools come, studies made, observations for, these studies made through visiting, for example, the zoo, then that's something acceptable. Otherwise, it's not allowed.
I see. Is it permissible to consume medication that contains alcohol for one's treatment? From the opinion of His Eminence the Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Sistani.
His Eminence mentions that if it's a very small amount of alcohol, which is
Non-intoxicating?
non-intoxicant or non-drunken, then of course the Sayyid mentions that if it's like 2% would be fine, but if it's more than 2%, you have to mix it with water.
Actually dilute it.
Exactly, mix it with water, and then of course one can consume it.
Sheikhna, we are unaware of the ingredients of food sold in shops in Western countries. It might be free from those ingredients that are forbidden to us, or it might contain them. Are we allowed to eat such items without looking into the ingredients or inquiring about them, or is that not allowed to us, according to His Eminence the Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Sistani?
The Sayyid mentions again that it is permissible to eat such food as long as has no, it's not known basically that it has, let's say, animal fat and such like. And for example, they are forbidden for some reasons. Otherwise, because sometimes you see products, foods on the shelf, fried falafel, hummus,
Yes.
without any ingredients mentioned, or let's say
Yes.
donuts and muffins, there's no ingredients mentioned. In this case, the one can buy in this regard, unless the one can discover and somehow that this particular shop they would use animal fat or alcoholic ingredients. Then you have to avoid it.
I see. So a few questions from our viewers. Is pre-ejaculation liquid najis? No, it is not. That is absolutely.
Yes, these are
tahar, I believe.
basically before the actual ejaculation, which are, of course, this type of liquid is tahir.
Are insects halal to consume?
Sorry?
Insects, are they allowed to consume?
I
Grasshoppers
don't.
and
See, it's
snails, the French are
no. I
famous
don't
for
think
eating
you
and so
can consume them. With regards to the grasshoppers, there's something said.
Oh, okay.
Yes, but I'm not sure about it. But
Fair enough,
yeah.
fair enough. How can I start to seek repentance if I have been tarakku su'ala? Tarakku su'ala?
I don't
know what
get
I
the
I
last
don't know
one.
what that means. Can you send that back again? Inshallah, we'll be able to answer that for you. Can a woman read Quran when she menstruates or enter the masjid? Thank you.
Initially, she's not allowed to go to the masjid in this situation. She can't remain in the masjid. Quran.
I think reading from the phone would be okay. Reciting is okay if she knows it off by heart, or something like that.
Yeah.
Opening up the Quran and touching the words, I think is problematic. You're not allowed
No,
to do.
touch the words, you can't touch the words, of course. Yeah. But I think we mentioned last time, carrying the Quran and so forth is makruh.
it's
There's
makruh.
karaha with this regard, in overall, yeah.
But
Karaha.
on the phone would be okay. I don't see an issue with it.
على كل حال, if it's phone, if it's Quran, then it's Quran. It's
Okay.
within
Fair
the system, yeah.
Fair enough. Sheikh, we're going to go to a short break now. Join us after the break as we continue taking your questions and discussing here on Ahkam SOS. Assalamu alaikum.
I have a question regarding keeping pictures of
Is it
scholars at
permissible to
home.
plant trees by or
Was
over
Islam
the graves?
established based on peace and
Is it permissible
non-violence?
to collect donations for charity projects from
Is it permitted to consume canned food imported from non-Muslim
Is there
countries?
an issue for men looking at non-Muslim women?
To have your questions answered live, call in on +44 2035 150199 or WhatsApp us on +44 7415 092155. Alternatively, you can also email us on ahkamsos@imamhussein.tv.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to Ahkam SOS. And yes, this is a live show, and as you saw there, we have many ways for you to send in your questions. Send it via the email address, send it via the WhatsApp. If you're watching on Facebook Live or you're watching on YouTube, put your questions in the comment section. Why not give us a call here live in the studio, 0203 515 0199. Inshallah, we'll be able to speak to you and discuss and answer your questions. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna.
Assalamu alaikum.
Sheikhna, a friend has gone to propose for a potential spouse, and the family of the girl have asked me for a reference regards to my friend, and am I allowed to inform them of his faults, according to his eminence to Quran Ayatollah Sayyid Sistani?
Yes, His Eminence mentions that it is permissible in this case, and it is not considered as ghiba or backbiting, because it's to do with marriage, with a life. You know, they can establish a life, a marital family life. So you should know both sides in terms of their akhlaq and faith, because the hadith says, إذا جاءكم من ترضون خلقه ودينه فزوجوه. If somebody comes to you and you are happy and satisfied with their akhlaq and faith, then marry him. So you have to find out if he has akhlaq and faith as well. So you need to do some investigation in this regard.
Inshallah. Sheikhna, a household utensil made from land dog or pig hide, is it najis if used for eating or drinking?
Yes, indeed, it is najis, and it is haram for the one to use it for eating and drinking, because it's all inherently najis. So the water poured inside becomes najis, the food becomes najis due to contamination of the moist. And yeah, even for other use, if you want to do wudu, for example, ghusl, used as a ghusl, for example, it's all becomes najis and mushkil.
Is the vapor or steam from an strictly najis thing, such as urine or the garment that has become najis, which may form into drops onto the wall or glass, najis?
No, it's considered as tahir. Now you got something else. It's no longer that liquid. It's now a steam, transformed to steam.
I see. Sheikhna, some questions from our viewers. Assalamu alaikum.
So,
Teaching about LGBT at school, as they have done compulsory at schools for kids. What is a good advice on this? Please reply. Okay, so as you are aware, Sheikhna, over the last year or two, we've had a real increase in the I think it was called RSC, where they were introducing the LGBT community to younger children at younger age, to show them that it is acceptable and so forth, and it's part of society. A lot of people, not just only the Muslim community, there are a lot of Christian community, those from the Jewish community, those who are not even from religious communities, but concerned parents also have tried to speak to schools and so forth to remove it from the syllabus. As Muslims, what can we do in this situation where they are going to teach homosexuality as a norm to our children?
I think the best solution for this problem is that we do some homework as parents. We try to teach our children at home, send them to the Islamic Center or the Husseini or the Imam Barga, every week for them to be taught the correct ahkam, the correct rulings, and try to explain the situation that this is something we have no control over. It's something by law. They've enforced it. So, la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. So we try to educate our children with the right information, with the right rulings, with the right beliefs, inshallah.
Inshallah. Can a woman pray behind another woman? I guess it's in Jama'ah Salah.
Yes, someone can.
Fantastic. I heard buying and selling all animals is haram. Well, that can't be the case because we also sell meat, don't we? And we also sell horses and camels and sheep and so forth. But buying and selling animals, Sheikhna, in Islam, halal, haram?
You see, as mentioned before, that selling predators, for example, wild animals with no value, particular value or reason or objective, then that's the issue. You can't just sell dangerous animals as have them as pets, for example. That's the problem. But sheep and camels, of course, we use them for the meats. We consume that meat. The milk, we use it for making cheese and cream and so forth. So we actually make use of them. But what's the point of bringing a lion's cub at home, for example? That would cause dangerous consequences as a result. When they grow up. So yeah, you have to avoid it.
Sheikhna, assalamu alaikum. Which category of fish are not permissible to eat? I guess.
Let's do the opposite. The only ones you're allowed to eat, the fish that has scales on their body.
And prawns.
And prawns is the exception. And the rest is all haram.
I guess so. Are there any maraja that allow lobsters? As far as I know, there are one or two, but I think all the rest.
Yeah, the majority would,
as in
would
majority,
basically
99%.
Yes, would say that
haram.
it's haram. And ihtiyat is the best thing. The one should at least do the ihtiyat and not to eat them. Because we have narrations with this regard.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. Is it permissible for the person who is doing ablution to take wetness from his beard, which is extending out from the boundaries of his face, according to the eminence, the Grand Ayatollah Sheikh Bashir al-Najifi?
Sheikh al-Najifi says that if you mean by the wetness for wiping, then yes, you can actually take it from your beard, if not from your moustache, if not from the eyebrows, and then do the masah. That should be fine. Because sometimes it dries up, especially if you're in the Middle East, in the middle of the summer. So when you do the wudu, it dries up quickly. So yeah, you can take from the beard. And
Sheikh, let's go to the Shia Plus video and let's see what issue we can help our young shabab with this time.
Okay, I'm hungry. I'm looking for some food. Oh, salami. Oh. Halal chicken salami. But I'm in a non-Muslim country. Can I trust this halal?
Yes, Amir Raza there. In a Western supermarket, a non-Muslim supermarket, he's found salami, and it's Turkish salami. There's a halal sign on it and so forth. Is he allowed to consume that product?
if the company that provides the salami and meat is a well-known company, a Muslim company behind it, the poultry, the staff, all Muslims, that should be no issue with it, no objection, that one can consume it.
I see. Sheikh, is it permissible for a servant to be Christian or Buddhist?
There's no objection that one can bring servant or staff who are not Muslims, but when it comes to the matter of impurities and purities, najasa, tahara, one should observe that.
Is it permissible to drink the non-intoxicant barley drink that is free from alcohol, which is sold in Muslim countries? I guess these are they look like beer, but there's no alcohol in whatsoever. Are these allowed to consume?
The ones which has no intoxicant or alcoholic means with the barley drink, which is, let's say, prescribed for medical reason, for example, free from alcohol, yes, the one can actually consume it.
Okay. What is the law about someone who is doing a job with a degree he has achieved through cheating, according to the Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Sistani?
The Sayyid mentions that cheating is not allowed, and the one who has official qualification he can earn the income, and that income is halal, of course.
Ahsan. Sheikh, now we've got some more questions coming in from our viewers. Can we buy cats? Can we purchase cats?
Yes.
Lovely. Hello, respected Sheikh. Is it okay to video chat with a scholar? A Sheikh, is that permissible? I am a female. Okay, so a female wants to video call a Sheikh. Maybe they want to discuss certain fiqh question or some other Islamic lessons and so forth. Is that acceptable? Is that okay?
Initially, with two conditions. Number one, has to be professional discussion, number one. Number two, with hijab.
I see.
Observe the hijab, yeah.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. Is tuna allowed to be eaten or not? Tuna fish, as I'm aware, has scales and it's okay, it's halal.
If there has scales, then it's halal, definitely.
Yeah. It does. Another one here. In an Islamic court, what evidence would be required to prove a woman's rape if she cannot provide 4 witnesses or if she's not pregnant? It's a really good question, actually. Sheikh, could we use CCTV? Is that acceptable? If there are marks on the lady, can that be used as evidence?
This is a very specific question and needs to be asked the marja himself or the qadi, the judge, who is appointed by the marja, to see exactly, to read exactly what happened exactly in that incident, and then they can, based on the information given, then they can actually rule upon those evidences.
What are the steps to take if I have stopped performing swala for a long while? Swala?
I'm not sure about this swala.
I don't know what swala is neither. SWALA. Never mind. Inshallah, if you can send that question again with the English translation, that will be, or Arabic, that will be very, very beneficial for us. Okay, Sheikh, now I'll pull this up. Many Muslims do not know the ruling of tahara or do not make the effort to apply them in various aspects of their daily lives. Would it be mandatory upon us to avoid their food or render our clothes tahir if we came in wet contact with them?
No, of course, because they are Muslims and the Muslim is, we have the originality of sahha to accept and to certify their cleanliness and purity. Unless the one sees or witnesses that this item became najis as a result, then you have to avoid it.
I see. Sheikh, if one suspects that there may be dirt or anything else in his eyebrow or under his eyes or lips that will prevent the wudu, water reaching the skin, what should he do?
If that suspicion is ala kulli hal reasonable, the one should, before wudu, to search and look into any obstacles on the face, on both hands, for example, to see if there's anything that might prevent the reach of water to the skin, to remove it, and then start your wudu.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. Can you marry a second mutta marriage when you have a mutta marriage going on without the first marriage knowing? So, if you're involved in a mut'ah marriage, can you do a second one without the first one being involved or knowing or anything like that?
Yes, you can, but the one should basically have this satisfaction with regards to, if you think the first one was enough, then it was enough. Allah ta'adulu fawahid. If you can't be just, then stick to one. So, كحكم شرعي, you're allowed, but you have to think about it and double thinking about this decision.
Another question from one of our viewers. Do you know any Shia history books or Seerah books other than Irshad or Jamal by Sheikh al-Mufid? Many give me history from the opposition, which we sometimes take, but I'd like to read our own. So Shia historical books or Shia books that discuss history.
There's a recent book written, but again it's in Arabic, more than 9 volumes, known as Jawahir al-Tarikh by Sheikh Ali Qurani, I've read all of it. It's a beautiful historical book, and also simplified, so it doesn't go into details much. So yeah, if you can read Arabic, Jawahir al-Tarikh is a good book to start with.
So, Sheikh, for what age kids have to start to pray? My daughters are 3 and 4 years old.
I mean, in overall, if one can teach them to start praying, let's say by 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, slowly, encourage them, buy them gifts, for example, show them the beauty of the salah, try to attract them towards these ibadat, not only salah. If they can fast half the day, let's say, till adhan al-dhuhr, and they break their fast, for example, gradually they would be able to easily fast and pray when they reach the age of bulugh, be it 10 or 13, 14, 15 for the boys, whatever is the signs of the puberty. So, yeah.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. What are the steps to take if I have stopped performing wajib prayers for a long while?
Simple repentance, tawbah ila Allah Azza wa Jal, and then you have to start to make up all those missed prayers one by one. With each salah you would pray, let's say with Salat Subuh, the wajib main one, you pray 2 qada afterwards. And gradually try to do the qada.
Sheikh, if the upper side of the feet is najis and it is not possible for one to render it tahir to wipe on it, what should he do?
In this case, the hukum would be that the one is mandatory to perform the tayammum instead. If you can't reach your feet for masih, then you have to do tayammum in this case.
Sheikh, when performing wudu, if one wipes his head twice, once with the right hand and once with the left hand, in ignorance of the ruling concerned, and this had gone on for a period of time, as much as 10 years, what is the ruling concerning his past wudu and salah?
I mean, both are valid for what they did before, but from now on they stick to the standard manner in which they wipe with their right hand on their head. So just keep praying, the wudu in the right manner as it was before.
Sheikh, some questions coming in from our viewers. This is a good one. There we go. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. What is the hukum of releasing wind with no sound during salah?
Of course, the salah will be batil in this case.
So what happens? You have to walk away from the sajada and go perform wudu again?
Salah is batil, that's it. You can just walk away, do the wudu again, come back.
Again. Yeah. I see. Sheikhna, assalamu alaikum. During Hajj, is tawaf al-nisa wajib for a non-married individual? I think it is. That's what we were taught in
yes, it's wajib. I mean,
you have to do it.
Even Ahlul Sunnah, they have tawaf al-wada', I think they call it.
Yeah.
So it's wajib. You have to do tawaf al-nisa before you leave Mecca. Yes.
Another question. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna.
Assalam.
Is it wajib for me to go to Hajj, especially when I do not have money and I have some debts to pay?
No, the condition of Hajj, that you become mustati', capable of paying the fees for the Hajj. So you have to see how much is the fees for the Hajj. If it's say £4,000, you have to have, let's say, at least £6,000 to pay the khumus first, and then to pay to have something in return when you come back home as well, to pay the cost of your living and so forth. So you must have the means for expenses of Hajj. Otherwise, you don't have to go to Hajj. It's not wajib.
Is sexual safety such as condoms wajib if not one looking for babies? So I guess if someone's not looking to have a family and so forth, is using contraceptive wajib?
No, it's not wajib. It's something optional, and both have the right, the husband and wife, to use or not to use. Yes, they both have the right to accept or not to accept.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. A Sunni friend of mine asked of historical evidence that Sayyidah Fatima Zahra was attacked and her house burnt down. What books can I give her on this topic?
There was one book which mentions the attack on the door of Fatima alayha salam. I cannot remember the author or even the book. Yes, explains in detail how Umar attacked the house and he hit Fatima alayhi salam.
I see. Maybe on next episode,
inshallah,
research, inshallah, exactly, we'll be able to give the brother sister the answers. Sheikh, now what is the best way to become Shia through books in English? I think the most common one was Then I Was Guided, was a very, very good book. It's been translated into English, of the Tunisian Sheikh. I can't remember his name, Dr. Tijani or something, something like that.
Muhammad Tijani As-Samawi.
Muhammad Tijani As-Samawi,
Yes,
yeah, there you go.
yes.
And he's done not just one book, he's done 3 books.
More than 3 books, yeah.
You know, looking at not just becoming Shi'i, but also looking at Shia-Sunni polemics, looking at the arguments they come forth, and you know where he found evidences against what they were saying and so forth. But are there any other books you could recommend? What if someone has decided to become Shia, Sheikhna? What books can we help them with in terms of their aqaid and their fiqh and how to perform salah and so forth?
I mean, if they have some knowledge in Islamic Sharia and they've studied a bit, for example, they know a bit of hadith, they understand the meanings of the hadith, it's a very good start if somebody who's a bit of academic, studied a bit of in university or college, to start with Kitab al-Kafi.
Okay.
It's a great book. So you start from Kitab al-Tawheed,
yes,
monotheism of Allah Azza wa Jal. All the hadith about establishing that Allah, nothing is like Him Azza wa Jal, and so on. So to start with a firm and strong aqidah, you must understand initially who you believe, who is your Lord. Is He, as in some of Ahlul Sunnah books, that He sits on the throne and He's heavy as well, and He's been carried by 8 angels, in which they feel the heaviness of this Lord while sitting on the throne. A'udhu billah, astaghfirullah. This is kufr, tashbih, tajseem, embodying Allah Azza wa Jal. In Quran, even if we have these things, the ayat, istawa ala al-arsh, yadullah fawqa aydihim, all these verses are metaphor, majaz. It's not haqiqah, it's not true. You can't basically give the attributes of a human being, of a creation, to the creator. It's impossible. So yes, to start with the Kitab al-Tawheed and onwards to the Imam and so forth.
Coming to the end of the show, we've still got some questions coming, so we'll go through them as quick as we can. Should a revert undergo circumcision? It's a really good question, Sheikh. Normally we have it as children. It's just not something that we remember. I think if you're a lot older, it'll be a lot more traumatic. But circumcision, should a revert go through it?
I mean, for the Hajj, seems to be a requirement for the Hajj.
Yes, you have to be.
So that's the problem for the Hajj. Yeah.
Okay.
The sooner the better, of course. Yeah. The sooner the better. It's cleanliness, tahara, ala kulli hal.
Is eating lizards and grasshoppers halal, and is it sunnah? Grasshoppers you mentioned before.
Yes, there's something mentioned. Yes, but not lizards. No.
Lizards.
No.
Abu Burais, I think you guys call it.
No.
Is catfishing halal? Really good question there, Sheikh. Now, catfishing is when online you pretend to be someone that you're not. So, for example, in a situation where it will probably be used for Muslims, is either they will put up a picture of a certain scholar or so forth, and use their name, and go and like debate people online or make comments on Islamic social media channels and social media profiles and so forth. But really, that person isn't representing a scholar or so forth. Another way it's mainly used is, let's say, on dating sites or these marriage websites. The sisters and the brothers also, they will put up pictures of not of themselves, of other people who you could say are attractive, so that they get some sort of attention, or they get some sort of likes or some sort of communication with the opposite gender. But when it comes to meeting up, they realize quickly that this is not the person that they portray to be on the profile and so forth. So, catfishing, is it halal or haram?
There's lots to say about what you've mentioned. A couple of questions can be raised from this query. And overall, there should be no cheating, no distorting others' image and others' reputation. Many issues are involved. No haram to be involved. At the end of the day, they're going to meet up somewhere for the purpose of marriage. They're going to see each other. So if they don't like each other, then they can just walk away. على كل حال, yeah, not to use other people's names and distort their image and reputation. It depends really the situations.
I see. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Assalamu rahmatullah.
This person's put their name in and where they're from. You don't need to put that, by the way. You can totally ask us anonymously. That's what the whole point of Ahkam SOS. I wish to ask a question that gets regularly asked in our community. Why do we Shia differ from other Sunni brothers and each other when it comes to celebrations such as Eid and minor things such as iftar time?
Basically, we have our own fiqh. We belong to the school of thought of Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, not Abu Hanifa. We follow Imam Ali alayhi salam and not Abu Bakr. So we follow what the Holy Prophet has advised in many times. أذكركم الله في أهل بيتي أذكركم الله في أهل بيتي أذكركم الله في أهل بيتي. I remind you of my progeny, my family. He didn't say my Sahaba. He said my Ahl Bayt. Sahaba and companions would follow Ahl Bayt as a result, not to stand against Ahl Bayt and break their door and use of the Khilafah and the wealth and so forth. So we followed the true path of Ahl Bayt alayhim salam according to the hadith of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that I leave two weighty or necessary things, the Book of Allah and my progeny. That's what we do. And we did. Yeah.
Sheikh, how do we clean carpet from najis that is movable and non-movable carpets and that can't be thrown in the washing machine? So if it's a small rug and there's najis, you can throw it in the washing machine, it'll be okay. But like a big carpet or a big rug which doesn't fit in the washing machine, how can we remove the najasa and make that carpet tahir?
I mean, you can bring, the running water, the hose, to the carpet, and you just wash it and use the sponge to absorb the water, and then that be tahir, inshallah.
Just a few more questions, Sheikh, before we end the show. If you can answer these quickly. How do we invite Christians to Islam?
As the Holy Quran states, بِالَّتِي أَحْسَنُ وَجَادِلْهُمْ بِالَّتِي أَحْسَنُ, and to debate them with the right means, with the good manner. That's the best way.
Is ghina of Ahlul Bayt allowed and is daf allowed?
What do you mean by ghina? Ghina,
I think, from singing and so forth.
Songs are haram, of course.
Okay.
According to Ahlul Bayt narrations, that's forbidden. Yes.
And daf?
Daf is haram as well, yes.
Okay.
It's part of the music instruments, yeah.
What is the hukum of gelatin if it is not named on products? Oh, this is a good question. Sheikh, sometimes we have products, food products, just as gelatin. It doesn't say whether it's from an animal or a plant or it's made in a lab, just as gelatin. What do we do in those situations? Can we consume it?
Because it doesn't mention if it's from vegetation and so forth, then as a precaution one must avoid eating this gelatin.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. It is very well known that Amir al-Mu'mineen bore no love towards the caliphs.
Yeah.
I get asked this frequently, so why would our Imam name his children after these people? I think this is in reference to that Imam Ali alayhi salam had a son, Abu Bakr, and there was another one called Umar. I think there may be another one called Uthman. Why are they named after, not named after, because obviously they weren't named after the three caliphs, but why did they share the same name?
Initially, there is no strong evidence that he named his sons Abu Bakr and Umar. And if he did so for any reason, yes, he did with Uthman. He named one of his sons Uthman, and the Imam gave the reason that I named them because of Uthman ibn Mad'un, this good companion of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam,
Yes.
not Uthman ibn Affan. So the Imam alayhi salam would not name his sons according to the names of his enemies at all.
Yes.
And Abu Bakr is not a name. Abu Bakr is a kunya. His name was Atiq. So you can't call your son Abu Bakr or Abu Ishaq. You have to call him a name. Hassan, Hussein, Ahmad, Muhammad. So, no.
Ahsant, and thank you so much, Sheikhna, for all of your research and answering questions on the spot from our viewers. Thank you to all the viewers for joining us on this episode of Ahkam SOS. If we didn't answer your question, we do apologize, and inshallah we will discuss it on the next episode, which will be on Monday, 6:30 here on Imam Hussein TV. If you have a question you'd like to ask, please send it in via the WhatsApp. Send it on the email address at Ahkam SOS at imamhussein.tv. If you're on Facebook Live or you're on YouTube, put your questions in the comment section. If you have TikTok, follow us at Ahkam SOS on TikTok. We have separate material, separate question answering on the TikTok. Follow us there, and inshallah we'll see you guys Monday 6:30 here on Imam Hussein TV 3. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.
We question our daily position, seeking answers and definitions. Get the queries off your chest with Ahkam SOS.
Whilst this winter many of you will be enjoying the festive season, Afghanistan is going through a crisis. Every winter the weather will reach temperatures as low as -18 degrees Celsius. With little finances and homes not adequate enough to keep the heat in, many families struggle during this season. The elderly are vulnerable and physically challenged to fight the cold during these days and nights. Young children must walk through snow and ice in order to get to school and return to a chilly and bitter cold home. Imam Hussein Development and Relief Foundation are determined to help. We will be providing households with coal to burn throughout the winter. $150 is all we need. $150 will be enough to provide heat and warmth for one household for the whole of winter. That's $150 for 4 months. You can donate via PayPal, bank transfer, or visit us at www.ihdrf.org to make a donation. Our Imams tell us the best of you are those who help those who are desperate. Help us spread the warmth. Thank you.
يقول الرسول الأكرم صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم فاطمة بضعة مني يرضى الله لرضاها ويغضب لغضبها. My dear brothers and sisters, join me for some series of discussions on the lesson from the Lady of Light on Imam Hussein TV.
IHDRF is proud to announce the launch of its app, Sadaqah. Sadaqah is a modern, easy, and interactive way for you to pay your charity. Your Sadaqah can be transferred instantly and directly start helping orphans. Furthermore, you can donate to different projects such as clothing orphans, supplying clean water, heating fuel for the winter, and feeding the hungry. When you pay your Sadaqah, it will be used to feed, clothe, and school orphans. Our app is accessible via the App Store and Google Play Store. Download today and pay your Sadaqah.
We all have a duty towards the preservation and the propagation of the message of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Indeed, one of the best ways to work towards the reappearance of Imam al-Mahdi ajjalallahu ta'ala farajul sharif is through promoting the values of Karbala. Imam Hussein Media Group is the only Shia television network that broadcasts globally in 5 different languages: Arabic, Farsi, Turkish, Urdu, and English. We are appealing to the lovers of Imam Hussein alayhi salam worldwide to support the channel such that it may continue its global operations. Imam Hussein Media Group is seeking 1,000 partners to pledge to a £14 contribution per month. This will allow the channel to sustain its operating costs as we continue to spread the message of Imam Hussein alayhi salam in multiple languages across the globe. You be a part of this great legacy and donate today. You can pledge in 2 ways. www.imamhussein3.tv/donate will take you direct to our donation page where you can pledge monthly. Or you can call or WhatsApp us on 0044 793 9917163. Imam Hussein TV, your gateway to Karbala.
Fatima is